with Gvardiol, but actually there was a moment before he set up the goal where Gvardiol knew that Messi was really on his game in this second half.
But when he gets into this kind of position, he starts running. He's in total control. Even when he gets off balance, he still flicks it, still gets it in. I think he just gets a nudge there. That's where he kind of miskicks it. But then now you can see he's going to point where he wants it. Look, there he wants it there. And so he's so tight on the line, but then his control is so good, and he's past him now. And then he kind of grabs him, slows him down a bit, but then once he stops him, it's the touches out. 1, 2, 3, and he's in. It's a penalty if he touches him, and composure to then pass it to. It's beautiful, beautiful football.
I think earlier in the time we kind of felt he's lost that little bit of acceleration. He definitely still has it. He has it in a moment, and obviously he picks and chooses. That's why he's so smart. And then on top of the brilliant run, he's got the composure to pick out a pass for one touch finish. Brilliant.
Maybe that's why he walks about so much in the game, saving energy.
I watched him 10 years ago destroy United, or 12 years ago in 2 Champions League finals. Absolutely incredible, completely different player than he is now. But what mesmerises me about him is skill we've seen for many, many years. But Gvardiol must be 13, 14 stone, 6'3", and he's literally almost like ragdolling him and pushing him away. No sense of how you do that with the ball at your feet, running at full speed while twisting and turning. It's unbelievable. It's mesmerising to watch.
And in that moment, Messi's thinking, I can get away from him. Then he's going, I can't quite get away from him, but I'm not worried if I've just then got to slow up and then I can beat him again.
Yeah, that's it. 12 years ago he was going past people and he weren't getting back. Now he's having to do it in a different way, but he's adapting to the elder part of his career. Still obviously massively relevant in moments in matches where he used to be the focal point of most attacks. Now to be fair, he can go sleeping for 15-20 minutes in matches and then just come alive.
But what's he done as well there is that, for us, like you said, how big he is and how big and strong he is, but once he's slowed him down and the way he's manipulated the ball in such a tight area, that guy's not going to be able to turn that quickly. He knows that. He knows how to bring a guy into an area where he can finish him.
It's that arm he puts there that keeps a guy that's like probably 2-3 stone heavier than him away from him. That guy should just be. He can't.
But he'll read a situation. This is where his intelligence. He's so smart. He'll read a situation with a defender like that. If he feels somebody's too tight, that's when he'll roll him. Players are not frightened to death. They'll drop off, and then you give him time and space. He will pick the right pass.
I think if we're going to be fair, what he's done for PSG in the Champions League over the last 18 months, 2 years, this has probably come as a bit of a pleasant surprise, hasn't it? That he's been this good in this short space of time.
It does feel like a mission, doesn't it, the World Cup to him and to the rest of his team now, who, to be fair, are so collective around him in terms of how they're playing. They're almost saying, we're going to keep a clean sheet, we're going to be horrible to play against, we're going to do everything right, and then he'll go and win us the game, he'll do something, and that's what's happening.
I think with Messi, as much as PSG have bought him and they've got obviously Mbappe and Neymar, Messi's like mantra in the world of football, like Maradona's, like Pele, like all those guys, Zidane, R9, is to win the World Cup. And that's why you probably see, when you see him in this scenario, he's at his very best. He's at his very best.
At PSG, there's 3 of them hanging up there doing nothing. You wouldn't do that. If he had 2 of them, he's got subservience here. The rest of his teammates are all putting in a massive shift for him. Yeah. And that's what he needs. And I think with PSG, there's 2 or 3 others up there that are, to be fair, and you can't carry 3, 4 without the ball. You can carry 1 without the ball. And that's what Argentina are doing. So well done to those other players. Incredible in terms of what they're doing. But
And the young manager deserves huge credit, considering the pressure he was under at the start of the tournament with a bit of a setback. He's managed the group well, he's made changes. They are now more of a workman-like team. The first game, it was like too easy for them, they're too open. He's got them sorted, so he deserves huge credit.
Because we mentioned Alvarez before the game, it's absolutely justified, isn't it?
And Fernandes, 2 young players in such a big game, come in and they've done the business for him.
About Croatia, they played, I think, in the way that we anticipated. They were very neat on the ball, they manipulated well, they kept it very neatly in midfield, but they never looked like scoring, did they? If you're Croatian Federation in your under-17s, under-21s, you're thinking, if we only could get a centre forward in our team.
Yeah, one of their strengths, I suppose, is how they control games. But they've got, you don't want to be too hard on Croatia because they've been magnificent. But it's when they were desperate to get a goal, they weren't getting enough bodies forward, players were isolated, not enough players running off the ball. We see the clips here. That's where it's obviously frustrating. And again, the strength is the control in the middle of the park. But when they were 1 or 2 goals behind, you just knew there was no way back from. Not enough bodies forward. not enough of a goal
They
threat.
seem reluctant to shoot.
They did seem to be,
but even when you get into a situation like this, you think you just shoot or lay into him. You know, he can lay into there. He's got a shot. They didn't take advantage of the little moments that they had. Those little moments at this level, the margins are so small. You have to take advantage of them, and they didn't. They haven't got the striker to do it as well.
The decision making in the final third certainly wasn't good enough, and that's where we found out tonight. Just obviously need to be better.
They're punching well above the weight to even be here. It's unbelievable what they've done to get here.
They've actually only won one game at this World Cup, and they could come third. I think that says it all, does it? The fact that the paucity of goals and the lack of wins has been borne out by what's happened this evening.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what they've done and what Morocco have done is punch well above the weight, and then I don't think we can be critical of Croatia or Morocco, whatever happens. And you know, Argentina tonight have blown them away through magic moments and a really good performance. And you don't know what's going to happen with Morocco tomorrow, but they're up against an exceptional team in France.
2-0 Argentina at half-time. Straight on with possibly the pivotal moment of the whole match. Half an hour played, Gary. In your opinion, should this have been a penalty?
No, not at all. I didn't think it was at the time. Obviously, we're right below it here. Obviously, this angle's a bit further away, but I thought the keeper comes out. He basically just makes a movement to his right. He stops himself before the actual shot's about to be taken. He stops himself there, and Alvarez just runs into him and takes his leg away. That is not a penalty. This one's he just stops. What else can he do? He has to make that motion to try and save the ball. He plants his feet. If he'd have carried on running out at Alvarez and took him out, fair enough. But he stops before it, and I don't know that's a penalty.
I honestly, when you look at it, Poods, I think the forward, he's actually miskicked it, to be honest. Because if he hits that goes into the goal. Goalkeeper can't do anything. Like you say, he stopped. Look, he miskicks it. He doesn't get good contact. It's not getting into the goal. Goalkeeper can't do anything else but stand his ground. He's run into him, and this is what I can't. The referee didn't even have a look. I can't understand it.
Yeah, poor defending overall to let him get a run in on goal. But I agree with the lads. I don't think it's a penalty. Where else are you supposed to go?
Let's bring in Peter Walton. Peter, it's a fairly simple question from the boys in the studio. What else is the goalkeeper supposed to do? He's come out, he's said himself, he hasn't made a forward motion into Alvarez. What else is he supposed to do?
Well, win the ball for first thing. If he's challenging for the ball and he misses the ball completely and catches the player, and in fact, what he's done there, he's been in the path of that forward, and therefore he's impeded his progress. So it has to be a foul. I can understand what they're saying in terms of, well, where else can he go? But the point is, in parallel to that, you think of an outfield player who slides in to make a challenge, misses the ball, catches the man. It's always a foul. So fast forward to the goalkeeper. He's done exactly the same.
No.
Peter, are you suggesting a goalkeeper who's coming out in the line of the ball has to move out of the way to allow a player to have a free shot?
No, he doesn't move, but he needs to make sure he gets some contact on the ball. Otherwise, he'll be classed as impeding the progress of the player coming towards him.
But Peter, what you're saying is that the shot has to hit him. He's trying to save it. What you're saying is the ball has to hit him, otherwise it's construed as a foul.
No, but his forward motion there, going towards the opponent, going towards the forward, has meant that there's a collision happening. And if that's the case, he's been careless in his approach of actual.
Wow.
So it's a foul. Wow. It may seem harsh, but it's a foul because you can clearly see that. Now, if you turn it on its head and say, no, it wasn't a foul, could you imagine the commotion now? It was a foul.
It wasn't a foul.
I think that those who don't think it would foul would simply say it was a collision, it was a coming together.
If I'm a defender and the striker's about to have a shot there and he's running forward and I go to block my leg and he then basically shoots, goes past me and runs into me, that can't be a foul. You've got to try and block the shot. I mean, anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was given. He scored the goal. Peter, we may speak to you later. Hopefully we won't in a good way because it means there'll be no more controversy. Messi scores the penalty and then the second goal. Two things you've loved about this World Cup, Bellingham and Alvarez, people running in a dead straight line.
Yeah, you got to run in this game, especially with this direct. There's almost players don't have to do with it. But what I love about here is the set piece. You've got a striker going back and doing the job properly. Croatia, obviously, we're talking about the cool heads. They weren't cool for this 4 or 5 minutes. And what I love about the cool heads, they weren't cool for this 4 or 5 minutes. And what I love about this, just looking at power, running. Okay, he's not got many options running. People trying to get a help him. Really poor defending. But what he shows right at the last minute, a little bit of luck, is the composure. A lot of it. Listen, this is poor defending. It's just this last bit, bang, composure right at the end. Yeah. Brilliant.
The difference of them two up front, Alvarez and Messi, they're absolutely outstanding.
And for all the fact that Croatia have lots of lovely, neat possession, it was all in front of Argentina's defence.
Well, they haven't got someone who's willing to run into that space and stretch Argentina. They're playing some great stuff. We've watched some beautiful stuff from Modric and that, but they just don't have the players with the pace to get past their defence. They ain't got no one to pass it to once they get into that final third, unfortunately for them. And then, you know, it was very tight for a while. We was thinking, what Argentina doing? They're not even in the game hardly. Messi hardly had touches, and then bang, what they're able to do is with pace and precision, they finish them. And